questionable judgment, sub-zero repair, and kitchen sponges. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do. Good morning, dearest of dearest friends. Hi, Ames. How are you?
Well, hello-de doty. What is cooking good looking? I'm glad to see you today. I'm happy. Fuck off. Let's go. It's December, bitches.
It is December.
Suck it, Yule. Suck the whole Yule fucking tide. Let's go. Let's bring it. Let's dig it. I'm getting it. I got the to-do list.
Yeah.
I got the car gassed up. I got the bank account empty. And I'm ready to go.
I got so excited for you. You were so prepared. Dear listener, if you're not a regular listener, you don't realize that Amy runs her vehicle on empty. It's just a way of life for her because her answer is what? What's your answer?
I got chastised yesterday because it was super empty. Well, it was like dusty in there. It was like very dry. One might call it arid.
Echo.
It was arid in my gas tank. It was not the condition you want. And my husband says, "Let's go out to dinner. You know, we're going out to dinner. Fuck it, we're going out to dinner. Okay, so
we'll do it live."
One child. We only have one child in the house. So at the moment, so we're like, pile into the car.
Pile.
Single extra occupant.
Right.
Yeah, pile in.
I loved that
so
year.
We get into my big car, right? And I say, I just very casually, I knew the scene that was upon us, but I didn't want to out myself. I've learned from living with you on this show that I control that. Like before, I was like, blah. So instead I was like, no, you are in control of the information that you share.
Is that
and
true?
How it can be used against you. So I thought, okay, so I'll do it like this. As we were heading out, I said, so who's driving? And I just meant that by way of saying we could take your car. I said, so who's driving? He goes, I am. And he walked over to my car because he always, whenever we're together, he drives and he takes it. And I was like, okay.
Ruh-roh.
So I just waited for him to get in, right? And I thought, well, we're close enough to the restaurant that it's not going to
Oh my God, you weren't even thinking hit up for gas first, make him pay and pump. You were thinking maybe he won't notice the arid situation.
Yeah, it was really more of a kick the can further down the road until I have to discuss.
Until people love to help.
Again. A fucking again. So, of course, we get in and your remaining fuel is very low. Would you like me to recommend gas stations nearby? I'm like, fuck off. Just fuck off, car. Fuck off. So she outed me, and he's just shaking his head. So we went to dinner, knowing that he likes a particular gas brand because they have a particular
Sure he
type.
does.
It's ethanol free, whatever. So we always have to go to. It's worse than getting diesel, like the amount of places that you can find this fucking shit. Okay, so it's very, very hard to find. In any event, we go there and buy the gas and put it in. Do you want to know what he says to me? Do you want to know what he says to me after he puts in the gas?
Ruh-roh.
How big is your gas tank? And I said, it's plenty big. It takes care of the whole car. And he goes, how many? What is the capacity?
Oh, no.
What capacity
You
is
really
your
don't
gas
know?
tank? And I'm like, I said it's 18. And then he looked at me and I said, it's 20. I think it's 20. I think it's probably 20. He goes, it's 22 gallons. It's 22 gallons. And how many gallons did I just pump? And I said, I did
22.
not.
Oh my God, 22. Oh my God.
It was that number. So I was like, so you have fill her up. When they have the statement, fill her up, you did a fill her up.
So high five, buddy. You did a great job. You got it down to less than fumes. I hope you're happy.
Did we stall anywhere? No. Were we left stranded on the side of the road?
Not evidence.
Do I have blankets in the car? Do I have blankets in the car? Yeah, of course I do. Do I have a charged up cell phone? Part enough. It's got enough of a charge.
I would say
Am
no
I
to that
many
last
miles
one.
from home? I'm under 20 miles from home. All these things are good. All these things are great. Do I have other people in the car with good strong backs and hearty legs that can go where I need them to go to save it? Yes. Is it so pitch black that you can't see your own fingers in front of your face pointing at yourself saying, why do you live this way? Correct. Correct. Have you noticed that we are like in an Arabian desert scene? When you look up at the sky, it is nothing but the blackest, bluest black. And then this we've been blessed with the most clear nights of late. It almost makes you want to accept daylight savings time as something that is not the scourge of the earth, which we all know it is.
It is.
Because it make it so fucking horrible for you and you feel dead. We came home for dinner.
By 4:15, you're like.
My husband goes, whoo, I'm ready for bed. Man, I'm exhausted. What time is it, 10:30? It was 7:45.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 4:15.
He did.
It's dark out. I'm done.
It's awful.
I'm done.
It's awful. Why do they do this to us?
I worked out later yesterday. I showered, and then as I get out of the shower, I yell downstairs at 4:15. Is it too early to put on my pajamas? Because I'm done. Like, it's dark
There's
out.
There's never a no to that question, first of all. I think pajamas are suitable for everywhere. I was having this conversation with a stranger yesterday. I found myself in a cocktail moment.
I find this fascinating. Go ahead.
And we were talking of, as you do with a stranger at a cocktail party, drinking your hot chocolate at a holiday cocktail party with no cocktails.
Well, I like that
because it was a work thing. Okay. So it was super cute, you guys. So they're super hung up on everything that we do has to be local, of this place, small business supported.
I like that too.
So all of the cookies were handmade, homemade from the little tiny producer who can barely keep up in the holidays. So good.
Throw in minority and I'll be right there. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, that's guaranteed. That's 100% guaranteed. So these are all, everything has a backstory. Everything is delicious.
Aww.
Everything is crazy Southern. And so, my God, there were dueling cheese straws there. And both of the makers were present.
Oh, my God.
And there was one clear winner. And it was problematic because everybody's like, do you have them cheese stars? My God. Because some of them were cheese stars. Imagine if you had a star tip on a piping bag and then just went machine style, cut. So you had little tiny coin-sized stars. They're so good. So they were there. And then this other producer was doing cheese straws in the proper straw size, but she had 5 heat variations. So they went from cheddar cheese straw all the way to like chili spicy. And if you weren't careful, and they were different colored, like they would just go from yellow to like almost a burnt orange. So you're like, oh, that's fun. These must have been baked differently. Oh, these are the hot ones. Right. Okay. But the stars were the fucking star of the show, literally, because they would melt and they were savory and it was cookie explosion. So to have something salty and savory at this thing, and a little hot chocolate bar where they had peppermint sticks to spin it, to stir it, and all the fucking stuff. It's so cute. So I'm talking to the stranger. We don't know each other. We're just killing time till we see the people who were there to see, right? Hi, how are you? Oh, I like that sweater. Oh, this is the delicious. Yeah, I did like those stars. They're better than straws. Don't say she's over there. Blah, 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 blah. So we started talking about men's shoes, right? As you always talk about men's shoes. And I'm bringing it back to the pajamas because the two of us were engrossed in this conversation that men's shoes, men's dress shoes are no longer a thing. They're no longer a thing.
They
They're
wear
sneakers
a lot. Yeah.
Even men's dress shoes, like a proper, like a Cole Haan maker of shoes, the sole, if careful listeners will note, the sole is a sneaker sole. There is no such thing as a stacked leather heel men's shoe anymore. I mean, of course there is, but nobody wears it. Look on TV. When you're watching them on TV, when they're throwing that ball around, everybody's standing there with their stupid scarves. Why? Put them inside, fuckers. Anyway, when they're standing around talking about the football, every single one of them in a suit and these sneaker shoes that are shoe sneakers that are very weird. So we were talking about all this. Yeah. And it occurs to me that pajamas, that sneaker shoes for men have gone the way of pantyhose. Men's dress shoes have become pantyhose. Pantyhose are just not a fucking thing anymore.
Okay.
We've accepted it. And therefore, sweatpants at school as proper attire has been accepted. And pajamas as actual clothing is now fucking accepted. We have slid off the 2020 cliff into huggy comfort town, and everybody is just going to wear their fleecies and say, fuck you. Fuck you, world. It is too sharp out here. I'm wearing my soft shit.
I 1000% agree that everything I mean, I never agree with what you say 1000%, but I will tell you, sorry, she was drinking. I will tell you that the world is 10,000% less formal than it used to be, right? So following that theory of the progression towards literally being a gelatinous ball of jelly, just laying there as a mass of nothing, we went from, I got pictures sent to me this past weekend from my cousin. My uncle used to take pictures. He was a master photographer and a master gardener. And my brother's like, and a masturbator. I'm like, stop it right now. All of you stop it right now. So these pictures are coming back from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. All of like hundreds in buckets of their slides. And he got this Kodak transfer from slide to digital. Great. We get pictures of holidays of yore. And I look at this uncle. He's in a suit. I look at my grandfather. He's in a tie. What? This past holiday, okay, we did it alone and we were in pajamas, but we're
with
gelatinous
hats.
now.
The men, not only are they wearing suits, they're wearing fucking hats.
For the outdoor pictures, they were still wearing hats. They were dressed to the nines. I used to go to theater with my family, and we would dress up for theater because theater is to be respected. It's an event. It's an evening out. I still do this. If we're being honest, I still do. However, last time I went to the theater, I was dressed nicer, even though it's fucking cold. I still rallied, and there are kids in, say it with me, pajama pants, coming to see this show and coming to see. And I thought, wait, there's a difference between being less formal and disrespectful. Like, where is that line? You can wear pajamas to your classes in college, but my daughter's looking at law schools now, and year one or 1L, whatever it is, you have to dress professionally for class. So that's starting to turn around a little. And I asked, how long has that been? They're like, well, it's more recent since COVID. I'm like, okay. None of this generation knows the world prior to COVID. Like, there was a whole world.
Well, in her profession or her adopted profession, should she continue down this road, she quite realistically will be charging $800 per hour. So if the expectation is you're going to sit down with someone and drop a G and talking to them, you kind of want a zipper on the pants. I mean, let's just get used to it now.
Show a little leg,
it's the
girl.
trapping of it's the trapping of the profession. But I will say, I don't bemoan the loss of formality so much as I really, really, really regret the loss of specialness and differentiation. That's what I miss. It doesn't have to be formal and stuffy and overlayered and symbolic of class distinction. I'm just looking for special. So if you're wearing the same thing, or if your habits are doing the same thing every single time, when you go to the theater, for example, I want that to have an air of specialness. I want you to have done something to mark the occasion. Maybe they're your dress pajamas, right? Whatever it happens to be. Maybe the theme matches the show you're about to see. Maybe you take extra time fashioning your hair or whatever. When you get on an airplane, I know that you want to be comfortable, honestly, for your good and the good of the rest of us, because if you're not comfortable, really bad things could ensue. Physically uncomfortable. Like, you need to manage your body in that space for your protection and everyone the fuck else. So if that means you can't wear the zip up layered, all the thing, whatever, and instead you're putting on you're putting on your squeezy stretchos. There are enough options now where you can have things that are relaxed and soft feeling that still look special, that look next level. And it's not about money. It's not about, not everybody has enough capacity to be able to have a different outfit, different clothes for each thing. Yeah, that was the reason they changed clothes so often throughout the day. Not only because they had the money to do it, and because they were showing that they could, and because they were excluding other people who could not by making that the norm. Part of it, way back, is they were also employing people to manage their fucking lives and clothes. And if you don't have anything if you're not changing your clothes, what the fuck are they doing all day? You're actually employing other people. So, I mean, it's all tied into a whole bunch of other shit. This ain't that. Everybody has enough for 2 change of clothes. Everybody has enough. So put on the one that's nicer. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's not because people are going to come at us. We got 6,000 listeners who love to come out of the woodwork and give us a socioeconomic, anthropological, historical, geographical, all the ickles are going to come at us and
bring it, Ickles. Bring it.
Really? This is what you know. You're very classist. Okay, great. Am I classist
I'm
to
an
say don't wear
asshole.
pajamas on an airplane?
To take out your
So
squeezy
what?
stretchos.
Do you know what?
What'd you call
Let's
them?
Let's have that conversation on the airplane with all the people who don't have 2 changes of clothes to get on the airplane. Which is more classist? I mean, the reality is
On the airplane,
you're
though.
not going to the theater unless you have 2 changes of clothes anyway. So it's kind of a silly conversation to begin with.
But on the
It's
airplane,
silly.
can you
I'm not
cover your
saying-
fucking feet so I don't need to see your yellow toenails climbing out of those sandals you
Thank
have
you.
on?
Thank you. We're talking about the broadest swath of humanity and economic access. I'm not talking about on the first class charter, should you be dressing nicer. I'm just talking fucking Spirit. We'll send you anywhere for $29. $29.
On a PVC pipe and a pizza box you get to sit on because you're not paying
My
extra.
son rode on a plane and held a fucking strap while he stood up. There's a lot of ways to get on a plane. Buy a pair of pants before you buy the ticket. That's all I'm saying.
There's the preparation for holidays that we did the same way, that we kind of dumbed down. I have my grandmother's incredible china. It has all the memories. It has all the beauty. I'm not fucking cleaning that shit, taking it out of the box from the basement, bringing it up, washing it down, setting a table, bringing it back. Like for these dopes who are going to what? Chip it, break it. I want this holiday meal to be special. I'm just not willing to do all of the work it takes to bring up all that china, wash it, plate it, and then clean it again.
Here's where I'm confused. I'm super confused. I'm blah, 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 blah.
Rebox and
You
put it back
have
in the basement.
fuck you. You have a fully functioning dining room with china in it on display in the thing with the glass. What the fuck's in there? How many sets of china you have?
That's just
Is that from like, oh, I
serving.
love my husband. Here's china for me and him. And then there's other china, and then there's historic china. Like, how much fucking china do you have in your house? I'm curious.
I have one set of dishes that we use every day, maybe 2.
Those are dishes. They're not china. Yes.
The stuff in that little break fronty thing that to which you are referring.
Yes. The rest of the world would refer to this room in your estate as the dining salon. Yes.
Those are just platters, serving platters that I didn't register for china when I got married because I thought it was stupid, and B, I wanted Nana's china, and then I got it, and now I don't use it. But that's what makes
my
things
point
special.
to you. No, ding dong. Why is it not? Okay, Amy, use the words in the right order. Okay.
Okay.
You have a piece of case goods. You have cabinetry designed to artfully display porcelain ware. Why not bring down Nana's china once, stick it in your fucking break front, and enjoy it all year while you look at it, then be tempted to move it from the shelf to the table, which is adjacent to the shelf, instead of having boxes and dust and people and stairs and, oh my goodness, there it goes. I mean, what's the break front for? Put her fucking china on display.
Well, it's full. It's
And then
full
be
of
tempted
other
to use
shit.
it.
It's full of other stuff. It's.
Is that shit good? Is that good shit?
I mean,
or is it literally shit?
I don't host, so there's really no reason for me to have any of the shits. But shits. All right, I have a more important question for you, other than how Melissa's
I love
a
it.
terrible
I
hostess.
just fucking love it when you sidestep all the stuff that comes at you. All right, go ahead.
Come at me. 6,000 listeners with only the ability to criticize. Come on.
I do it too.
Bring it, fuckers.
I have the china that is beloved by me upstairs in a box, carefully swathed up, never once to have been used. I've only unwrapped it twice in the history of my life to take a picture of it to confirm that this china pattern still exists, so I can keep rounding it out.
If you
I've
need to
never,
replace.
because it's too precious for
Yeah.
me. It's too precious for me to risk breaking it, and that's the stupidest way to live. And that now I've migrated into, it doesn't really fit in my house or in my life. It looks out of place and weird on any of the tables that I have.
Really?
So I kind of feel like
I need a new table.
Well, in truth, I want to arrange with that in mind. Okay, the formal parties are always going to use this service set, so let's think about what that table would look like, and if it's just a tablecloth or if it's a whatever. And I just haven't put any of that together because I always go to somebody else's house. You were going to tell me something that doesn't have to do with dishes, so I'm hanging on.
It has
I'm
a little
trusting
to
that this
do
will
with
be
dishes.
exciting.
No, I'm gonna segue
Okay.
appropriately
All right.
for the first time in the history of this show.
Wow! Okay, Flex. Okay.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
Here it comes. After you wash those dishes, How do you feel about your kitchen sponge? What's the word on a kitchen sponge? Because I can't touch it. I could smell it by looking at it on camera if I needed to. I fucking hate the kitchen sponge. There, I came out hard.
Okay. I gotta.
And I put it in the dishwasher.
You use your fucking hand.
And I use the dishwasher to wash it after someone uses it. I cannot touch the kitchen sponge.
After each use?
After like a party or dinner and you wash and everything's like rinse and you put things in the dishwasher. There's a little spot in the front of the dishwasher where I have somebody else put the sponge and then I run it. So I know it gets clean, but I can't with
It actually doesn't. It's notorious as being one of the worst things that you can use. Of course, I adore it because you know that I'm freaky deaky and not all that clean. So I love a kitchen sponge.
I did not know you're not that clean. Right. I know that you're not that gas planned, but clean. Come on.
I'm very well. I learned all my domesticity at the hip, literally, of my grandmother, who became a wife and a mother in the Depression. So she's got a very different way and was raised by her family from Italy. So it's the way that she does things is the way that I do things. And we all know, thanks to science, that none of those things are the way you should do it anymore. But I keep fucking doing it because also fuck off, right? So, for example, the way that I thaw chicken is not technically safe. I don't use cutting boards in the best way. All these things, kitchen sponge.
Technically safe. Salmonella,
no, I mean, I eat raw cookie dough. I eat Caesar salad dressing made with eggs that are just the fucking egg. Like everybody wants to pasteurize and do all this. I mean, those things are safer. They're smarter. But guess what? You can get salmonella from fucking spinach leaves. So don't even start me.
Healthy
right?
bitches.
At a certain point, you don't know what you're doing either. Okay, so back to the kitchen sponge. It is a bacteria trap, which is one of the reasons it's so good. Because then you can spread that bacteria on everything, and then you have an equal layer of bacteria.
It's not toast.
You don't know where
Ew.
the source is. I'm fucking kidding you. I'm kidding you. So I have I have a 2-sponge cycle. My husband is a sponge addict. He will buy the bulk pack of the fucking sponges. We have multi-bulk packs of sponges in our house at any time. Scotch, blue-sided, scrubber side with the
yeah,
we never
same.
We never have deviated. We never got a scrub daddy, never done a nothing. Always that once, never an Ocello. That's just when you're slumming it at the beach, right? It's always the proper high-end sponge. And it's got the curved thing that fits your hand just nice. I got sponges for days. You want to see what 13 sponge? I got a gross of fucking sponges.
Does he see them as single use? Does he see them as
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He just regularly will decide
that's
I'm done with you.
Okay.
And then he throws it away. But here's the thing. I reserve a separate sponge for particular cleaning uses. So I have the sink sponge that is in the sponge all the time. And that takes care of whatever the fuck you need it to take care of. But mostly it's really just for cleaning the sink. So you hit it with a little bit of the thing. It'll clean pots and pans. It'll clean the sink. And then it'll sit in the sink until you have outlived your utility for us. And we discard you with no fanfare. Zero Viking funeral for you. In the garbage, sadly, to decompose. Never, because you made of plastic. So the other sponge is under the sink, squirreled away in the dark, commingling with brushes and chemicals. And he comes out only when you're using Barkeeper's Friend. Because Barkeeper's Friend ruins everything it touches and makes like a weird, cakey, dusty, moldy kind of sponge that I keep forever in a bucket under the sink. Because my husband will use the Barkeeper's Friend because it gets the grease off the outside of the pots, but it ruins your fucking sponge. It ruins it for everything else. So I abhor when he takes that, fills it up with Barkeeper's Friend, my good kitchen sink sponge. Put it in the dishwasher is what you're supposed to do. Today's show says put it in the dishwasher, but really
still
all
gross.
That does is it's still gross. So I feel like you got to just embrace the gross because you're never going to get in front of this like hermetically sealed, we live in a lab, keep everything clean kind of a kitchen. And P.S., do you really cook so aggressively that you're
Stop
working
your
this
sentence
sponge?
and cook. Stop your sentence and cook.
So what are you really using it for? You're using it to like get you out the thing that's stuck onto the thing because some fucker didn't put this in the dishwasher when they were supposed to. So at that point, put on some gloves maybe. And then you don't have to worry about how filthy the
Gloves might
sponge
be
is
the
because you're
answer.
not actually touching it. And gloves, I want to embrace gloves, but I refuse to because they ick me out.
They ick me out
But
too.
they would make your nails and your hands so pretty all the time. But I can't it's so gross. Make Stuart do it. He loves gloves. He wears them all the time. He sticks his finger inside other people's bodies with a glove on.
All the
That's how
holes.
glove happy he is.
All the holes. Yeah.
So gross. So if he can touch that, if he can touch internal walled poop, I think he can touch a sponge.
Dear listener, what is your take on the kitchen sponge? I am so curious. At the beach, I've taken to these paper towels, but they're not paper. They're fabric. You wet them and they become towels, and then they dry out and they stiffen again. But I haven't sniffed
I hate
those.
those things.
They're reusable. Do I put that in the dishwasher? Please let us know what
Yes.
your thoughts are on the kitchen sponge. You can write us at brilliantobservations@gmail.com. You can go to Instagram and find us at Listen Brilliant. Take a picture of your kitchen sponge and show us your dysfunction. Or you can go to Facebook, Brilliant Observations, Brill Ob Squad. It is a dysfunction, Amy. Don't laugh. It's gross. I could smell it.
I agree. It is a dysfunction. Straight up. I'm just questioning if it's the sponge dysfunction or if it's the Melissa dysfunction.
Pick, choose. I don't care. A. You say Aleph, I say A. Look, I was in the kitchen yesterday because our Sub-Zero that came with the house we bought started this noise. That ain't good. That ain't good.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a flying leap that that's not factory authorized sound.
So you
That's
open
not
the
what you
top
want.
and the top says, yeah, call for service. Like, bitch, you don't got this. You don't got this. Don't
you
even-
open the top and the top says, girl.
You ain't got this, girl. You need to call for service. And here's the worst part of this whole a kid came to my house yesterday, opened the freezer, pulled out the whole freezer. I was like, oh, you're strong. Look, that's great. And took out a hairdryer. And he thawed my condenser. For 7 minutes, 10 minutes, he sat on the floor and held a hairdryer inside my refrigerator and then charged me $400 for it.
I thought that was your husband did this.
No.
This was someone you hired?
The serviceman, because it said condenser, something frozen, call for service. So we did. We called the number. We got really smart. We put the sticker on the inside of the refrigerator of the special guy who does the Sub-Zero. $400 later. I said, could I have just done this with my Dyson? And he goes, well,
I could have
yeah.
gone to Dry Bar, gotten a beautiful blowout in less time for less money. And all I would have to do is just leave the fucking drawer open. But then all your food would spoil. So I hate that. I hate that shit.
I said, do I know
hate
for the
that
future
shit.
now that I just need my Dyson up in ya? And he said, well, I'm like, are you trying to save your job or are you trying to help the customer? What's happening here? He's like, well, fuck. Here's $400 right out the goddamn window because the same girl who we let watch our dogs, who let frankly pee all over the upstairs of the house upon
Oh my God.
return. We said, please close the dogs in your room while you sleep because I have a marker. So we don't let him come upstairs unless he's with us. And she left her door open and he pissed all over the upstairs of the house. And I spent the first 2 hours of being home from Florida cleaning up urine and carpets and walls and trim and
walls.
Yeah, well, he's
Holy
a boy. He's a leg
fire
lifter.
hose.
He's a leg lifter.
I guess. I don't
So-
know, man.
So
Yikes.
$400 on that, free for my repair. I need to find another plan for my dogs when I go to Australia. Damn it. So what do I do? Next time, just pull the whole fucking thing out, drawer and all, and Dyson it and see if I can fix it on my own?
I don't think there will be a next time. I
She
think
left
you
the
have
freezer
dodged
open.
The next time bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there won't be a next time. Yeah, it seems to me that was user error.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
So that was a mistake. That wasn't a functional problem of the device, and that now you know how to deal with this issue should it arise again, but it won't arise. You lesson learned. But back to the guy with the low-tech repair, right, for the high-tech device.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So here's what happens. I love that shit. And then the question becomes, how do you capture the value when that stuff kind of happens? So, for example, 1,000 years ago on Car Talk with the Magliozzi brothers. If anybody even old enough to remember that
Car
stuff on
Talk,
NPR,
honk, honk.
right?
Yeah.
So cute, right? Okay, they had this story once a million years ago where the guy takes the front seat of the car, keeps flapping backward. It won't stay in the upright position. He takes it to a mechanic. The mechanic looks at the car, glances at the seat, and says, okay, this is going to cost you $50. You understand it's going to cost you $50. And the guy's like, okay, great. You know how to fix it? Let's fix it. It's going to be $50.
It's the
like,
dumbest fucking fix because you're going to feel like a fucking idiot
it's $50.
when I'm done.
It's $50. He said,
Pay
okay,
me first.
I want you to turn around. I want you to turn around and look over there. So the guy turns around and looks over there. And when he looks back, the seat is fixed. And he goes, $50. And he goes, what'd you do? Show me what you did. And he goes, why would I ever show you what I did? $50. So at a certain point, props to the guy he had no way to hide it. But when you have the knowledge, when you have the information that allows you to make $50 in 2 seconds, because you have information somebody else doesn't have, shouldn't you maybe kind of capture that and keep it to yourself? So I do like a lo-fi solution. Bringing it back to this party, I got a lot of juice at this party. I got a lot of information at this holiday party. So my client is a decoration lover. She probably should be a stager in real life instead of doing her job of, director of the whole fucking place. So whenever there's an opportunity, she did all the floral arrangements. She did all the theming. She did all the food. She did all this. Okay, so as the decoration, she took those tall glass pillars, filled them with a mixture of M&Ms, chocolate chips, mini marshmallows, Red Hots, peppermint something, just jumbled together for
beautiful
color.
Yeah,
filled them three quarters of the way up, tied it with a very thin green velvet ribbon with long tendrils coming down, and dropped a votive tea light in each one. And those were just at varying heights. So those were just everywhere as backdrop. Beautiful. So cute, right? Just simple, easy, fun. She forgot to light every single one of the fucking votives. And they were way down in there. And she's like, oh my God. It was an hour into the cocktail. And she's like, I can't believe I forgot to light it. We're in a historic building. So I thought you couldn't because this is a historic building. My sister has this problem. She's not allowed to light candles. Literally can't have candles in the house. So I said,
the electric ones where
she
you
goes,
flick
she
them.
says, no, I fucking forgot.
Oh.
And now because we live in it's hilarious. This is the birthplace of, it is Winston Salem. Ever heard those two names?
Sure have.
Reynolds Tobacco.
Yep.
And they're still operating to this. So the birthplace of fucking big tobacco, right? And nobody's got a lighter because nobody smokes.
Oh, good.
So we're all in this room and we're like, what do we do? Finally, somebody found matches that they had stolen away from some promo or something, but they were too short. People are burning their hands. So she says, Amy is so ingenious. Amy, can you solve this problem? And off she walked. So I'm like, yeah. And don't you know I fucking did. What I do. I called upon my Catholic heritage and my ingenuity, because I have GI skills that you didn't even know about. I thought, and bing! I walked over to the coffee station, and I picked up a coffee stirrer, and I lit that bitch on fire, and because they're wood coffee stir sticks.
Yep.
So I just used those like Catholics would do in church to light the long taper pillars, and I walked around with this giant open flame lighting shit like the little
in a
lighter
historical
man.
building.
That is the hairdryer in the thing, the lo-fi solution. And everyone was so eyes wide, commenting on it. Oh my goodness, this is so fun. This is so notable. I love we used to say jerry-rigged. I love a jerry-rigged solution to some shit. I love it when you do the thing that is not supposed to be done and it is perfect. When you use a pan for the purpose it's not supposed to be used for and it ends up being exactly what you need. They bring me such joy. It brings me such joy to use shit the wrong way for the best purpose.
When you use dental floss to get your wedding band off that's been stuck for 4 years.
Or hang a picture.
Or hang a picture to find the lines. Yeah,
Amen.
I love those hacks and they're so cool. But to charge $400, all right, fine, $50 for coming out, $50 for leaving. Where's the other $300? But you're right, I did see it and it's not going to happen again. I won't allow it. So user error second time, I'm hair drying that fucker.
I'm certain Mr. Packs a hairdryer, keeps on blowing, works for someone else. If this was an individual guy and had a relationship with you and it was a busy day and he was feeling festive, he might have said, do you know what you should try before I come out there? Just let it air out, let it dry if you're getting that message. I mean, that's what I got from my window lady. I have battery operated window blinds, and it was throwing an error. She came out. She addressed the whole thing. It threw the same error later. And instead of just coming out again. She said, I tell you what, why don't you, do these 3 things, and it probably should fix it. And if it doesn't, then I'm happy to come out there again. Of course, in her case, it was all under warranty, so she had a vested interest in not coming out. Make me do the fucking work. But at the same time, who really needs I love a lo-fi solution. And a hairdryer to your freezer compressor. It's a lo-fi solution. He could have fucking taken the whole thing out and charged you. Think about that. An unscrupulous asswipe could have said, baby's getting a Porsche for Hanukkah. Let's take out this compressor and get her a new one. $6,000, please. And you would have went, damn, I guess we shouldn't leave it open again. Right?
I didn't do that.
Right?
It wasn't me. Okay, Shaggy.
Right?
Were you cornered at that party that you went to? Did you get assaulted verbally?
I was cornered by somebody. This was for a client, and so all of the people were there who were associated with this client, and it was a multi-hour open house, right? This one guy shows up, and I've done marketing for him before. Little did he know. So, and I'm not wearing a name tag. Almost everybody in there is wearing name tags. It's that kind of a situation. But I know the place. I know I've worked for this client for easily 12 years. It's a long fucking time. I know everybody. They all know me. So I give an air of she fucking runs this place when you're in there.
I respect
that. So people kept, I'm lighting candles and walking around like this is not a guest, right? So at the same time, he's like, oh, let me bend your ear. So he's a fucking disgruntled partner in the community. He wants to tell me all the things that are wrong and that we're not doing for him. And I think I'm going to have some fucking fun right now for 2 reasons. Number one, I can't do shit.
Right.
Right. I can't do shit to help you, Blow. So anything you got to say, it's going right to the garbage. Because I'm not going to tell these people.
But he'll feel better about it.
Mr. Sourmouth came over here and wanted to spill his acid all over your party. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Nope, not doing that. Next, they recently hired a woman in a role who has no ability to help this man, whose first name is my first name. And we don't really look alike, but we could easily be confused if you don't remember enough. So I thought, I got this. Is perfect. So I kept egging him on. Tell me more. This is great feedback. God, I really want to hear about this. Well, how else can we help? If you had a wish list, what would you do?
Oh, my
God.
God.
I was just stroking his shit so hard because I knew he's going to follow up in a couple of weeks
and be like,
and say, I talked to Amy, and she told me all this good stuff. And they're like, why are you talking to Amy? She's in accounting, man. She can't help you.
She's good for reimbursement.
So after it was all said and done, this went on for way too long. He talked himself dry and then regrouped and kept talking. Like he honestly fed out of shit to say, took a step as if to say, looked in his cup, I'm going to go get myself another hot chocolate. And then he thought, you know what? No, I'm tripling down. I got this woman. And he kept going.
I got her
so
ear.
Bad. I honestly was like, I got to stay here for another 2 hours, so keep it up, right? So when he was done, I later bumped into my client. She had a free moment from she's glad-handing everybody. And she says, I saw that you spent some time mentioned his first name, and we both started laughing so hard, it was almost a piss your pants moment. It was hilarious. And I said, well, not only, I said he had a lot of good feedback, and she about doubled over. Because she's used to this shit.
Yeah, of course.
From this clown.
It's not new.
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, it was very difficult for me not to promise him anything. And she started laughing because she fucking knows me.
And she knows exactly what he's complaining about, too.
I said, but the good news for you is, boy, do I have a lot of feedback to share. And she's like, I bet you do. And then we toasted our hot chocolates and forgot about him forever. I mean, really? You come to a Christmas party and you bring your litany of complaints? It's not Krampus. What the fuck?
Right.
What are you trying to do?
You're not here to complain.
What's the one on Seinfeld?
Festivus. That's
Why
it.
can't we think of that?
Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah, well.
Yeah, he held on to me. And so by the time I got home, that's the reason we went out to dinner, because I was small talked out. I had no gas in any of my tanks. I was like, yeah, I'm not cooking. I'm not thinking. I need to sit somewhere and have you serve me.
And I'm not filling my tank.
That's what we did.
I was informed that I need to attend a holiday party because they need attendance. And I said, I don't do that anymore. I'm grandfathered out of it, which, by the way, I found out is a terrible phrase, and I'm trying not to use it anymore. I told myself I don't have to do that anymore. But it seems this year there will be a holiday party I will be attending at some snotty country club. And my gauge.
Why are we, before we get into that, why are we not allowed to say grandfathered? Because it's patriarchal?
No.
Or is it like slave trade
Yeah,
stuff?
it's slave trade stuff. Oh, your grandfather was a possession, so it was a...
What?
It's a
I went the other way. I thought your grandfather is exempt because he white. So
no, he was
I
owned.
guess it works. It's equally
Right.
It's equally hateful. No, it's not equally hateful. It's worse. It's worse in the actual
On the
judgment.
racist
Well, shit,
side.
I can't say that. Can't say master suite. Can't say, can't say half the
can't
shit
say
you used to say. And
Jimmy's, you have to say sprinkles. You can't say...
can't
And
say,
we don't regret
Everybody's,
it. It's fine. If
No,
there are
I'm here to
words...
tell you.
If
I'm
there are
here to
words
tell-
we
I'm-
can't
I'm
use
just gonna-
anymore, make them make sense,
agree
and I
with that.
agree.
I agree with that, and I am here to tell you that the confectionery
Jimmy's.
world is revolting
Uh-oh, why?
against
Sprinkles?
against changing. I won't say the phrase that would be easy to say. No, because it's a search term. It hasn't caught hold. Enough people still say it that they can't sell it if you don't search for it to buy it. So
Oh.
everything, it is listed either as the primary in parentheses sprinkles or as the sprinkles parentheses Jimmy's. And most of them will have in their product description on the page, we could debate all day long what the proper name for this item is, but here it is.
Looking great on a Sunday.
I'm just selling the
looking
sugar.
great on
I
a
don't care what
cookie.
y'all can call it fucking nuts, and I will sell it to you as long as you buy it in bulk. But I'm telling you, I have been everywhere because I'm trying to get some special decorative ones. So I have searched myriad sites, and they all have this conundrum. So you can't say that. Can't say Indian. What's the one that we used to? Now I've talked myself out of it. I don't even remember what it's called. What did we used to say? Oh, Indian style for cross-legged.
Crisscross
When you used to
applesauce?
sit crisscross applesauce or cross-legged. I was, when I was a kid, you would call that, you sit Indian style, which we don't say anymore because that's a horrible thing to do because it's, I don't know when I'm fucking being racist because everybody was racist. It's the same thing like we had gay training, right? Everybody grew up and we were, in my era, you were, it was not, though I'm trying to find the words for it. It was so commonplace. It's not even that it was accepted. It was
Canon,
fact.
yeah.
It's not that it was a choice. You don't look at somebody and say engine is what is in a car. That's a fact. It doesn't have a value judgment associated with it. That's a noun. That's a thing.
But you
right?
understand that when you use those nouns and things, there was value judgment from another
I know
community.
that now.
Right.
I know that
Correct.
now. But even in the very small community that I grew up in basically just outside Southeast Philadelphia, northern Wilmington area, it
just was.
half of the slurs were being waged at me, and no one meant them as slurs, and I didn't receive them as slurs. They had become fact, right? Mick, Wop, all this stuff on both of those, they mean nothing to me. So that was the language. So I would let's give myself a gold fucking star because my kids love to tell me how ridiculously racist I am, even though they know I'm not racist.
Right, but
they say, oh, she's having a flare up. They always call it she's having a flare up because it's like boomer racism. Because I'm continually educating myself that, oh, we're not going to say that. Even on a simple level, to take it outside of any inflammatory language, kill two birds with one stone.
Oh, no.
PETA says,
ready?
yeah, we don't want to say that anymore, guys.
Did you hear what it is now, though? Mallory taught me this. My daughter said, no, Mommy, it's feed two birds with one scone. Same thing. It's the problem being solved easily.
Okay,
two
but
things.
a scone is gonna kill those ducks.
I agree.
All right, anyway,
I agree.
Moving on.
Feed two birds with one
all
scone.
I'm trying to say is take the gold star. Don't be irritated. Take the gold star at evolving your thinking and your language because as Dolly Parton, the famous, I was going to say, I'm trying to relate it in like biblical terms. All hail Dolly Parton. I can't think of any biblical terms at the moment. Our patron saint, that's what I'm going for.
I love her.
Ms. Dolly Parton changed the name of her Dixie Stampede to something else, and her answer was, well, because it was hurting people's feelings, and why would I ever do that?
Why would I
don't
ever
care
do
what
that?
I don't care what it's called enough to hurt somebody's feelings. Like that's just stupid. Of course I'm going to change the name. Here we go. So that's what this is. So it's evolving the thinking, but I'm also here to say at the time why it's difficult for some like me to evolve all the thinking. Master suite in a house.
Primary.
It's called the primary or the main.
Right.
Because we're not going to refer to slave trade language. You know what? can get over it.
It's going to take a couple of weeks.
Some of these.
I don't use it that often, but yeah, I've absolutely changed to primary. Yeah.
All right. So we're not talking about that because instead you were trying to tell me something that I bogarted this whole thing. You were telling me about your holiday party where you were forced into attendance.
No, I will be. It's coming up. And my answer was, what kind of party is this? Can I wear, I said, I gave him a spectrum, leather pants, pajama pants. What are we talking about? Because I look banging in both. Pick one. Like, what do you want?
Leather
He's like, I don't want you wearing leather pants. I don't want you to be the topic of conversation at this party. And if you wear the
sounds like a dull party.
And if you wear those leather pants, it's going to be you. And I'm like, that's so flattering. I'm going to let you get away with it. And fine, I'll go to your party. It's a dog and pony show. Do I go sober? Do I go high? I don't know yet. Like, you're making me go. If you insist on Missy, you get Missy in whatever form she comes in that day.
Don't you love overdressing for things? Isn't it your favorite?
I kind of do enjoy
overdressing for things.
I kind of do enjoy that.
It's great.
Wildly overdressing, but when somebody shows up and I am in like leather pants and a silk top that basically just falls slightly over a whatever, and somebody comes to me with a Christmas sweater that has balls, and I think Hershey Kisses hanging from it as well. I think one of us understood the assignment and the other didn't. And many people in this room will judge from different opinions. So let's see.
It just speaks to specialness again. It speaks to specialness and intent and, frankly, confidence. I'm not going to say Riz because it also sounds gross to me.
It's in the dictionary right now.
That.
It just made it to the Webster.
I know.
Yeah.
I fucking know. And I'm also glad to know that the kids don't want me to say it either because it just doesn't fit in my mouth.
It doesn't come out well. Yeah. I hear you.
Any area, inside, outside, no. But I do love the idea. It takes a special kind of charisma and character to, I'll call it overdressing for simplification, but these style mavens that you see on social media where their whole deal exists to put together an overly elaborate outfit and go out. And sometimes it's a caricature outfit.
Right.
Sometimes it's a fashion drip outfit. Sometimes it's a blend of all the above.
Your kids let you say
what
drip,
I love about it.
They're fine with you saying
no,
drip. Okay, I'm just checking.
They're not. They're not. Drip, whip. I'm trying to think of what else.
No, it's
just any of the conversations. Cap, I can't say.
Bet.
No. Bussin'. They force me to say bussin'. And that's super gross. And I only recently, I don't say it anyway, but I heard about it because it was getting popular in cooking circles. And then they lost their fucking minds and they're like, number one, don't ever say that. And here's why. Specifically, you're never going to say that. And also, now say it. And I'm like, bussin'? And then they're like, you don't even say it right. So then they would just like fall all over themselves with laughter. But I don't say anything right. Back to the clothing. I love a person who is so comfortable, enamored, confident, excited about the elaborate putting together of something and then the decor of themselves and walking around, because I can't do it. Every time I put a lot of attention into an outfit, I talk myself out of it before I leave. And it's not because the outfit is bad or wrong. It's because it feels almost too special for where you're going or what you're doing. I somehow attract all these people who say, dress for the theater of your life. Everything is a dress performance. Absolutely. Put it all together. Blah, blah, blah. This is an art form. Put it together. I don't know what your thoughts are. So I say Christmas party, overdress, because then the other thing is I'm not trying to show up anybody else, but it's sort of like there's an elegance about coming just a little bit too formally dressed for the occasion, almost as if, well, this is how one does it. And also,
like I'm educating
because
you
I'm
on
headed
this topic.
This is a statement about it's handwriting, right? My handwriting suggests that I've cared about this
crackhead.
and others
Right.
in my life have cared about this, right? Versus the handwriting of my children, which suggests that they have been
Feral.
in, prison
Right.
for killing people. That's what their handwriting suggests. I don't want that to be the first impression, right? But when you come just a little bit overdressed, it also suggests that you're either coming from an event that is way better than this one or headed to an event that is way better than this one. So it is all emblematic of this is important, and in my frankly more important than you life, I am blessing you with my attendance and attention, right? And so it's special. It's an air of specialness. I like it.
I have two more things I want to discuss with you. I will overdress for the party now with that extra zum. But
do it.
And one of them you might want to think about for a while, but I have had it on the board for a couple of weeks, and I want to know, Amy, if there's an artist, and I know this is smack dab in your wheelhouse, if there's an artist you could living or dead, that you could have paint your portrait,
ooh,
who would it be?
Yeah, okay. Living or dead, I would probably, the go-to is Picasso, but living or dead.
Not for me. Not for me. He's not my go-to. I don't want to see an eye over here
gross.
and an eye over my shoulder.
No,
I don't like.
I that would be, and living is also even grosser because I adore the work of Chuck Close, but I abhor Chuck Close in all his forms because he is really, really gross and problematic. But I really do love that artwork style. So I'm trying to think, probably maybe Vermeer would be good. But I also want to pick somebody who is like one of the unknown chicks who is even better. Like whoever the wife / paramour of Jackson Pollock. Like she was, but like the people who never get any press. I don't have enough information to be
so
able
why
to
don't you
pull that kind
think
of
about
stuff,
it and come back to us next week with who you would like to paint your portrait, artist, living or dead? My first answer was Andy Warhol because
that's good.
I would
that's
be
good.
pop culture-y,
But he doesn't paint.
And he doesn't paint.
Yeah.
He would just play with a photograph, really, and
have others make it for him, which is genius. Well, and or the other one, that's a fucking top 10 answer, top 5, in fact. Or the other one is, all I can think of is the wrong name because it's an author, Anatanki Shange. But I'm trying to think of who's the fucking somebody with a lot of U's in his name is the portraitist for the Obamas.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
With all the fucking flowers.
Yeah,
I love that
gorgeous.
Shit. Can't remember who that is. That's just really sick.
This is
when
the listeners
yes,
are screaming
I will
in their
definitely.
cars. So do a little research.
I will definitely come up with a nice long list.
And come back with that. I do have a 30 seconds with Amy for you.
Well, I am going to give it to you. Let's hit it.
Okay. This is our segment, dear listener, where I give Amy a topic and she gives me as many. It all started because Melissa hates timers. They make me panic. I freak out. I talked about myself in third person just there, and I apologize. I hate them. And Amy's answer was, so fucking what? It's a timer. You're fine. It's not a big deal. And then I turn the timer on her, and she has to name as many blah, blah,
and
blahs.
And I fail epically every time.
In 30 seconds as she can, and she freaks the fuck
let's
out.
Go.
So let's go is right. Amy, in the next 30 seconds, tell me as many ways as you can think of to make eggs. Go.
Scrambled, poached, fried, shirred. Does it count to put them in like quiche? Blanched, let's see, baked, boiled, hard boiled, soft boiled, eggs. Ooh, egg foam, egg cream in drinks. It's delicious. Meringues. Oh, that's so good. I love a meringue. Eggs are made in eggs. Zabillon ice cream. You don't really make eggs into cake. I know I was getting off topic.
You got 12.
There's got to be more ways to make
great.
eggs than that. Yeah, but some of them don't really count.
I'm giving
That's close.
I'm giving you everything that fell out of your mouth. If it fell out of your mouth, I'm giving it to you. That's great. I said anything over 10. That was a 12er, and you did great. I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
So here's the oh my God. So here's the thing. If you have the holidays coming up, this is the egg dish that you want to make. It's so fast. It's so easy. It's always delicious. I had it once at a bed and breakfast when I was cutting down a Christmas tree in the mountains of North Carolina. It's crazy. And I was like, you have to show me how you did this. It's insane. So he took a muffin tin, didn't even bother with individual ramekins, took a muffin tin, cracked an egg. You know, you butter it or you spray it or you have a nonstick.
Go ahead.
Cracked an egg into each one of the tins, took a tablespoon of sugar, dumped that on top of this cracked egg. The yolk is whole in there.
Okay.
Gave each one a little almost equal amount of egg portion of milk, so a heavy dollop of milk or cream, threw that shit in the oven, baked it, and it comes out, and it's not quite poached egg. It's not quite custard. It's not quite sweet. It's just fucking crazy delicious with still a little bit of that soft cooked, still kind of gooey egg yolk when you take it out and bite it and smear it and put it on toast. It's so fucking good.
20 minutes at how high?
It's delicious. Oh, I would say 325, low and slow.
Slow and low.
325,
That is
20
the
minutes.
tempo.
And so the kind of thing where when you take the muffin tray and you give it a little shake, the stuff barely jiggles on top, but it's set. You know how to do it. If you're going to fucking try this thing with the weirdest possible loose-ass recipe, you kind of know enough that either I'm going to ruin these eggs or we're just going to give it a whirl and see how it happens. But get involved. It's good. And it's batch bake, so they all come out at the same time. Everybody's ready to go with these soft, poachy-like, delicious eggs. And the sugar is the fucking weirdest thing to put in there that you ever thought of. But it actually makes it crazy, crazy good.
Now,
you wouldn't think it did.
Can you put more than one egg in there? Can you fuck with the portions that you're doing? Or is it for one egg only, eat 10 of them? Or can I put 2 eggs in a ramekin and fill the water outside?
Well, the reason that I liked it is they came out as these little individual, they were served to each of us individually at the same time. It was bed and breakfast. So it had this, again, air of specialness. You take a toast point, you goop it in there, you can get the egg out. So I feel like you would sacrifice the everybody gets a yolk that they can break and eat situation if you tried to do a multi-yolk deal. But yeah, put it in one of those little baby staub pots. Do you know those little cute Le Creuset, spelled Le Creuset, right? Just put it in one of those fucking things and you're off to the races. It's the kind of thing where basics of French toast, now you have it, go play. Basics of baking an egg this way, now you have it, go play. Go have fun. You can change shit to it anyway.
I like that. That's how I cornered the market on my noodle pudding, my kugel. I got recipes from 1,000 people, and I was like, you know what? If I do this from this recipe, this from this recipe, but don't worry, because my mother took credit for it anyway, and she said, of course she makes the best kugel. I taught her how to make it. Sure, yours was one of the recipes that I doctored to make what sure.
You're so kind.
Sure.
You're so kind. You're so kind to give her that lie. Give it to her.
Okay, last week I came out with Tears and December and all of that stuff made everybody think the year was over and we didn't have 3 weeks left to go. Today, I want to look back with you and say there's really only one reason to look back, and it's really just to see how far you've come. It is December.
Oh.
This year is almost over. And if you do look to see where you've been, you're a survivor, dear listener, dear Amy. You're a survivor. We have been through tons of shit. And we are looking forward to another year of more shit. Actually, it's a year of surviving, not a year of necessarily more shit. Maybe good shit. Maybe I won't crumple into a tiny ball on an airplane for 24 hours. Maybe it'll be great shit. Or as my Nana used to say, hot shit. It's my favorite
hot
thing
shit. Well, that's the thing. You can envision any kind of future for yourself that you wish. So you can envision one that's going to bring hardship. You can envision one that's going to bring challenge. You can envision one that's going to bring stress. Or you can envision one that's going to bring ease beyond your imagining. You can envision one that brings boredom of abundance. I have so much of everything, I feel no utility anymore. Can you even imagine, right? I am so blessed. I don't know what to do. I don't have the capacity to do or share or use these blessings. It is overwhelming of abundance. You can envision any of these. The greatest mindset gift that we can all give to ourselves is don't stop. Wherever you are, just push for what's next.
You and Fleetwood Mac.
It's not greedy.
Don't stop.
It's not greedy. It's not greedy to push for more. It's not greedy to push for more. It's a mindset trick to think that more equals greed.
You didn't come this far to only come this far.
It's exactly right.
I love your projection of it.
Well, here's the thing. No, you didn't come this far to only come this far. But here, just to put the cap on that pen.
Put it on.
The reality is it is not greedy to want or expect more. If you think it is greedy, it's because your intention is to hoard the more that you get. And that is a mindset and a choice. That's a mindset and a choice that is downstream of more. Can you imagine the good that could be done if all of the wealth and power and influence that is currently sitting in the lap of Elon Musk was somehow sitting in the lap of Melissa Brilliant?
Ooh.
If you swapped places with Elon Musk today, would that make you greedy? Would that make you evil?
No,
or would that
I
make
have
you
plans
in a position to do you have
yes.
plans?
Yeah.
So be open.
Be open,
Be
dear
open
listener.
to abundance. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't shut yourself off to it because that's greedy. That's not for me. Fuck that. We all want it to go to somebody good. Be the good person who rises up and says, I'll do that for all the rest of us.
We want the greatness
I will
for
carry
you.
the mantle of wealth for all the rest of us.
I'll take that for the team. There you go. Amy's a team player. She'll take all the wealth in the world for the team because she would be better at dealing with it. We love you guys. Thank you for being part of our abundance. We are grateful for you. Thank you for listening, for turning us on. We hope we turned you on in some weird way today, although Amy cannot imagine how.
Here's what I know of the little